Once in a bustling city filled with noise, hurried footsteps, and endless conversations, there lived a young man named Oliver. Oliver was different from others. He did not speak much. In fact, for reasons no one fully understood, Oliver was completely mute. He had never spoken a single word in his life. His eyes, however, were full of emotion. Deep, soulful, and reflective. Oliver worked as a music teacher in a local community center, and he was widely known for his extraordinary talent in playing the piano and composing music. His silent presence and gentle smile made him both mysterious and inspiring to many, but some people didn't know how to approach him. They believed that since Oliver could not speak, he must be lacking something important. Every day, Oliver sat in the corner of the music room, his fingers gracefully dancing over the piano keys. The sound he created seemed to tell stories, tales of love, sadness, hope, and resilience. Students from all around the city came to learn from him, not because he gave long lectures, but because his music spoke louder than words ever could. He had an amazing ability to express emotions through melodies that touched the soul. His compositions weren't just simple notes arranged in harmony. They were pieces of his heart, experiences he had lived, and feelings he couldn't express through words. But Oliver's life was not always so peaceful. As a child, he had tried desperately to speak like other children. He would attempt to say, "Hello, I'm fine," or "Thank you," but no sound ever came out. Doctors told his parents that there was no medical explanation. They simply called it selective mutism. His parents, worried and anxious, tried every treatment and therapy available, yet nothing seemed to help. Oliver learned early that words were not his path. Instead of giving up, he turned to music. His first piano was a gift from his grandmother, an old but beautiful instrument that seemed to understand his silence. As his fingers touched the keys, a new world opened for him, a world where his feelings were no longer trapped. One summer, the community center announced a music competition for local talents. The grand prize was a chance to perform in front of an audience at the city's annual cultural festival. Students and amateur musicians from all over the city prepared for weeks. Oliver's students encouraged him to participate. "Your music is beautiful, Oliver. Why don't you show the city your talent?" they said, smiling brightly. But Oliver hesitated. Deep down, he feared judgment. What if the audience didn't understand the emotion behind his silent expression? What if they saw him only as the mute musician, not as a talented composer? His internal battle continued for days. Then one night, as he sat by the piano, staring at the blank music sheet in front of him, he remembered something his grandmother once told him. True expression comes from the heart. When words fail, music speaks. That simple sentence ignited a spark within him. He decided to participate, not to prove anything to others, but to prove to himself that expression is not limited to words. Oliver poured his soul into composing a piece titled Whispers of the Heart. The melody was gentle, starting with soft, slow notes that reflected sadness and uncertainty, gradually building up into strong, confident chords of hope and joy. It was a reflection of his life, silent, misunderstood, but beautiful. The day of the competition arrived. The auditorium was filled with excited people, families, music lovers, and judges. Other musicians performed confidently, speaking to the audience through words and music combined. Then it was Oliver's turn. He walked to the stage holding nothing but his music sheet and confidence. The room fell silent as he sat in front of the grand piano. His fingers hovered above the keys for a moment, as if asking permission to speak. Then slowly, the first note played. At first, the audience listened with polite curiosity, but as the melody progressed, something magical began to happen. The music, rich in emotion and depth, seemed to speak directly to the hearts of everyone present. Tears welled in some eyes. Others sat in silent awe, completely captivated by the story that unfolded without a single word. The soft sorrow, the gentle hope, the steady rise toward resilience, it was as if Oliver was sharing his entire journey in those notes. When the final chord faded into silence, the auditorium remained quiet for a moment. Then slowly, applause began to rise, gentle at first, then growing louder and more enthusiastic. People stood up, clapping, cheering, and some even wiping their eyes. Oliver smiled humbly, his eyes shining, not with pride, but with relief. He had spoken without words. He had expressed everything he wanted to say. That day, Oliver won the competition. But more than the trophy or recognition, what mattered most to him was the realization that silence was not a weakness. It was his unique strength. Through his music, he found a way to communicate, to connect, and to inspire. His story spread throughout the city, encouraging others who felt misunderstood or unable to express themselves. People began to visit his community center not just to learn music, but to understand that expression takes many forms. To those learning English, Oliver's story offers a powerful lesson. Communication is not limited to words alone. The courage to express yourself, even when you don't have the perfect vocabulary, is what matters most. In fact, every time you practice speaking, even with small sentences, you are telling your own story. Just like Oliver, who composed melodies without a single word, you can express your ideas in English bit by bit, sentence by sentence. Here's a simple phrase to help you get started today. I am learning to speak English step by step. Repeat after me. I am learning to speak English step by step. Each time you speak, you are composing your own melody of confidence. Remember, mistakes do not make you wrong. They are part of your journey. The silent musician didn't let the inability to speak stop him from creating something beautiful. Similarly, don't let fear of making mistakes stop you from speaking English. Every attempt you make is a note in the melody of your growth. If you enjoyed this story and learned something valuable, please give this video a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Shadow English for more inspirational stories and practical English lessons. Stay strong, stay expressive, and keep practicing. Thank you for being here. See you in the next story, where new lessons, new emotions, and new confidence await.